Hi, my name is Asia Timor, and this is my leadership storytelling project. I used to work as a financial data entry technician, and that was my first big real job as a 25-year-old. I had previous experience working in fast food and retail, and I just decided to try something new and out of the ordinary at what I would comfortably be doing. And so I got the position, and it was, my real big job with benefits, and I was excited to finally be a salary employee. I talked about this job in the dissent action paper where I used this incident as a example of conflict that we can have at the workplace. Um, with this job, I was the assistant to the head of the IT department. I was the only woman on the team. Everyone else was male. They were a lot older than me. Some have been at the company for, 20, 25 years. The average was about like 15 years. Um, I was just so excited to start the job. I had health benefits finally. As my role as an assistant, I was delegating responsibilities, managing income and outgoing work, and implementing discipline action areas as needed. So that was my first time really doing something like that. In my previous jobs, I really didn't have any experience with, delegating tags as important that this company does or doing disciplinary actions. Usually I was just, customer service rep or just, behind the scenes, taking down the chairs at night after, the bar closes and everything. But I was very excited about this new chapter in my life. Fortunately, just like anything, the honeymoon phase phased, and now I was in a situation where reality kind of set in that my gender was a problem at the workplace. Many of the men in the group, they adhere to traditional practices, such as I only listen to the boss, I'm not listening to his female assistant. From my upbringing, I always treat everyone with respect, including my elders. I was kind, caring, trying to be an overly charming woman. There was an incident where, if I, had issues where a team member would make a mistake and I would speak to them in a tone that kind of felt motherly. Like I had to slow down my tone, speak softly because I was afraid of the backlash from how this person react to me basically saying, hey, this isn't okay and this is what's going to happen. We was a telework group, so if you had so many disparate actions, you were no longer eligible to telework. And I realized that when I came home, and I was just so upset that I realized I was doing a little bit more than what my job description told me to do. Um, I felt sad every day coming home from work. I felt dread going into work. I was just tired of being the mob, making sure the coffee pot was filled, making sure everybody had pens, pencil, things that an adult really should do on their own. And I was just afraid of the job loss because this was a great paying job, and where else would I go when this market is very tough when you apply to jobs and everything. So I remember, I was upset. I was scrolling through the internet like I usually do, and I just stumbled upon a TED talk given by Tapia Coffee. Tapia Coffee. I'm sorry if I messed up her name. Why you need to be a B, the slur word. Sorry if I'm using the B word as a slur. If anyone's offended, I apologize. Tapia Coffee is a businesswoman who appeared on the Bravo's hit show Tapia Takes Over. She will visit hair salons and need drastic renovations and completely transform the management department. In this TED Talk, Tapia asserts that it's acceptable for women in the audience and those watching to be strong and confident. She asserts that if someone perceives you as a evil woman or just the nagging girl at work, you're just being brave, being intelligent, You're being tenacious, you're being creative, and you're being honest. After I watched this, I came to the realization that this is work and that I need to step up and I need to give myself a company business because I'm the only person who is the captain. I was given the roles as to be an assistant of the IT department manager, and I should do my job, and I should realize, don't take it personal, but you're not their mother, you are their coworker, and you are also technically their team lead. So when I went to work next day, after I sat in the car for 15 minutes trying to hype myself up, I said, you know what, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna fill up the coffee pot. I'm not gonna give, pens, pencil out. I'm just gonna simply do what I am supposed to do at the job. Because only for you to break old habits, you need to start new ones. And then overall, you will see that change. It was really challenging not to, fall into my old habits because usually I'm uncomfortable at the thought of being a leader. I never applied for any leadership positions. I didn't think an assistant was a leadership position, but it actually is. So over time, I became stronger and more assertive. I was the captain and they weren't. And if they were dissatisfied, well, they can go find a new ship or apply to be in my position and delegate the ship direction to another one. But as this new confidence started, I noticed that they no longer came for me for the extra things about the coffee bomb, pens, pencils, and they no longer displayed the traditional attitudes that they had at the beginning. But there was a little instance where I would walk by the break room and I would hear them, talk about me and call me the office B, which was, very displeasing. But I'd rather be called that than coming home every day after work and crying in the car. I stood my ground and quickly gained the respect of my IT manager, who soon offered me roles that helped me move up to the corporate ladder. I became the team lead officially. It was a huge step. I took it with stride. It was a great learn about leadership, good and bad. I was just excited because I finally felt, okay, this is my calling. I didn't think that me being in a leadership role was my calling. When I left college, it was just for associate arts. I was confused on where I wanted to be, but now this job gave me the inspiration to go back to college and get my business degree, which I later switched to organizational leadership. This class really has been a bonus for me academically and career-wise. I've learned a lot about leadership traits, styles, as well as learning how to develop leadership skills. I've learned how to establish a clear vision and enhance my collaboration with my colleagues. I also learned what it means to be a leader. I feel more comfortable with being a leader. I feel more enthusiastic about stepping out of my comfort zone and making an impact. To have a great leader, we must be willing to learn and adapt, and I'm very confident that going forward, I will take the skills that I learned from class and apply it to more situations like I did. And just like I did, I had to gain confidence. I had to learn, the authorian style leadership that some of the men displayed. It's not all sometimes that good. Sometimes we have to have a democratic leadership, and we are all just trying to make a living and go home and repeat. And the job shouldn't be as hard as we are trying to make it hard.